The phone call came at 3:47 a.m. Marcus fumbled for his cell, knocking over the champagne bottle on the nightstand. Beside him, Amber stirred, 24, bronze skin still glowing from the suite's ambient lighting. The Four Seasons. Presidential suite. Our anniversary night. Except I wasn't there. Mr. Castellano? The voice was crisp, urgent. This is David Chen from Morrison & Associates. I apologize for the hour, but we have a situation. Your accounts have been frozen. All of them. Your properties are in active liquidation. We need you to come to the office immediately. I watch from the hallway through the cracked door. Watch my husband of 10 years sit up, confusion spreading across his face like spilled ink. What are you talking about? Who authorized? Your wife, sir. Mrs. Castellano. She's been very thorough. Marcus's head snapped toward the door. Finally saw me standing there in my Goodwill dress, the one he'd mocked at dinner 3 months ago, the one I'd worn on purpose tonight. Sophia. I stepped inside. Let him see my face. Calm. Dry-eyed. Done. Happy anniversary, Marcus. 12 hours earlier the restaurant was Michelin-starred. Lou Bernardine. 7:30 p.m. reservation. I'd arrived at 7:15, wearing the black dress Marcus bought me last year. Valentino, he'd said. Probably cost more than my mother made in a month cleaning houses. I sat alone at our table for 40 minutes. The waiter, Pierre, his name tag read, refilled my water 3 times. Each pour sounded louder than the last. Around me, couples laughed, clinked glasses, fed each other dessert. 10 years. A decade of marriage. And I sat alone. My phone buzzed. Not Marcus. Rebecca, my sister. He's not coming, is he? I typed back, he'll come. But I knew. The same way I'd known about Atlanta. About Miami. About the business trips that smelled like Chanel No. 5 when he came home. At 8:23, Marcus walked in. Amber on his arm like a trophy. She wore red, a bandage dress that left nothing to imagination. Her laugh carried across the restaurant, bright and sharp as breaking crystal. They didn't see me. Walked right past to a corner table. The one Marcus had requested when he canceled our reservation this morning. I called the restaurant. Asked what time Mr. Castellano had rebooked for. Same night. Different woman. Pierre appeared at my elbow. Madam, shall I? Just the check, please. I left $300 on the table. More than the water cost. But Pierre had been kind. Had pretended not to see my husband with another woman 20 feet away. In the taxi home, I made the first call. My father's attorney. The one Marcus didn't know about. William? It's time. Activate everything. 6 months earlier, the first time I suspected, Marcus came home smelling like vanilla and something darker. Amber, I'd later learn. He'd been closing the Riverside deal. That's what he told me at 11 p.m., loosening his tie, pouring 18-year scotch. Sophia, you look tired. He kissed my forehead like I was a child. You should take better care of yourself. Maybe join that gym Cynthia goes to. Cynthia, his business partner's wife. Size 0. Personal trainer. Face that cost $30,000 in subtle work. I looked down at myself. Size 12. Target jeans. CVS face cream. My reflection in our marble foyer looked small, faded, forgettable. I'll think about it. Do more than think. He headed upstairs. I'm bringing clients to the house next week. I need you to look the part. Look the part. I'd been looking the part for 10 years. The grateful wife. The one who'd married up. Whose parents cleaned houses while Marcus's family owned them. What Marcus didn't know, what I'd hidden since the day we met, was that my parents didn't clean houses because they had to. They did it because my father believed in understanding every level of business. The same father who owned Chen Property Group, the largest real estate development firm in the state. The same father who'd built his empire from nothing and wanted his daughter to appreciate the value of work. The same father who'd made me promise to keep my inheritance secret until I was sure Marcus loved me for me, not my last name. 10 years I'd waited, watched, tested. Marcus had failed every test. That night, I called William Chen, my father's attorney, and my uncle. I need you to start paperwork. Quietly. I want every asset protected, every account separated, every property title reviewed. You're sure? I thought of Marcus's face. The casual cruelty. The assumption that I'd always be grateful, always stay small. I'm sure. The anniversary after leaving Le Bernardine, I didn't go home. I went to my real apartment. The penthouse in Soho that Marcus didn't know existed. Bought with family money, titled under my maiden name, furnished in secret over the last 6 months. I'd been moving my life piece by piece. Books, photos, my grandmother's jewelry, everything that mattered. What stayed at Marcus's house, our house, he called it, though the deed said otherwise, were things he'd bought me. Designer clothes I never chose. Jewelry that felt like chains. A life that had never fit. At 2:30 a.m., I texted Marcus. Come home. We need to talk. He read it immediately. Typing bubbles appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Can it wait? I'm exhausted. Early meeting. I smiled in the darkness. No, it can't wait. Four Seasons, Suite 4512. I know you're there. The bubbles stopped. 1 minute passed. 2. Then, Sophia, I can explain. No need. I'm in the hallway. Come open the door. Which brings us back to now. To Marcus's white face. To the phone in his hand. Lawyers explaining his empire is crumbling. You can't do this. His voice shook. Those accounts, that's my money. Actually, I said softly, most of it's mine. Marcus lunged from the bed, phone clattering to the floor. Amber shrieked, pulling sheets to her chest. What the hell are you talking about? I pulled a folder from my bag, the one I'd been carrying all night, waiting for this moment. The house on Riverside? My money. Down payment, mortgage, everything. You put your name on the deed, but the funds came from an account you didn't know I had. That's impossible. I bought that house. My bonus. Your bonus was $70,000. The house cost $2.3 million. I opened the folder. Bank statements. Wire transfers. Every document pristine. I covered the rest. Through a shell company my family controls. His mouth worked silently. The car? The BMW you love so much? Leases in my name. The beach condo in Miami? Mine. The investment portfolio you've been bragging about at cocktail parties? Seated with $400,000 from my trust fund. Your trust fund. He said it like a curse. You're a cleaning lady's daughter. You don't have. My father is Richard Chen. Chen Property Group. You know it. You've been trying to get a meeting with their acquisitions team for 3 years. The color drained from his face. Surprised? You never asked about my family. Just assumed because my parents worked service jobs, they were poor. I smiled. My father started as a janitor. Bought his first property at 19. Now he owns 40% of the commercial real estate in this city. Amber made a small sound. Oh my God. My maiden name is Chen. I never changed it legally. Only socially. To make you happy. Every asset I brought to this marriage stayed titled under Chen. I pulled out another stack of papers. Which means in New York State, they're separate property. Not marital assets. Marcus grabbed his phone from the floor. I'll call my lawyer. This is, you can't just, your lawyer? Marcus, who do you think has been paying Philip's retainer for the last 6 years? I watched understanding dawn in his eyes. He works for Morrison & Associates. My family's firm. The minute you called him 20 minutes ago, he activated the liquidation protocols I set up 6 months ago. 6 months. The first time you came home smelling like vanilla. I knew then. But I'm thorough, Marcus. I gave you chances. Every day, I gave you the opportunity to choose me. Choose us. I looked at Amber, cowering in sheets that cost 800 thread count. That I'd bought. Instead, you chose this. So I chose to take back what was always mine. My phone rang. William. Sophia, we're done. Everything's processed. The house locks have been changed, his cards are frozen, and the BMW's been collected by the dealership. We'll have the boat picked up by morning. Marcus heard every word. William's voice carried in the silent room. The boat? Sophia, that was a gift from my father. Check the registration. My name. I bought it for your 40th birthday, remember? You cried. Said it was the most generous thing anyone had ever done. He had cried. I thought it was love. Now I saw it clearly. He'd cried because he thought he'd finally arrived. Thought he'd married someone stupid enough to fund his fantasy life. You planned this. His voice was hollow. All of it. You've been playing me. No, Marcus. I've been loving you. Waiting for you to see me. Really see me. I closed the folder. But you never did. I was just the grateful girl from Queens. The one who should feel lucky you chose her. I gave you everything. You gave me nothing that was yours to give. The life you think you built? I financed it. The respect you think you earned? You borrowed my family's reputation without knowing it. Every client dinner, every business deal, every partnership. I made one call to my father, and doors opened for you. His knees buckled. He sat heavily on the bed. Chen Property Group. The Riverside deal you closed last year. Your biggest commission ever. Who do you think owned that property? No. My father sold it to you 20% below market value. Called it a wedding gift. For me? Not you. Amber was crying now, mascara tracking down her cheeks. Marcus, you said you were rich. You said, he is rich, I interrupted. In debt. The credit cards are his. The car lease I'm canceling? He'll owe the remaining payments. The house. He'll need to find somewhere else to live by Friday. Friday? You can't kick me out in 3 days. It's my house. I can do what I want. I checked my watch, Cartier, inherited from my grandmother. You have 72 hours to remove your personal belongings. Anything left will be donated. This is insane. We're married. You can't just... I pulled out the final papers. Divorce filing. Submitted electronically at 2:15 a.m. New York allows online filing now. Very convenient. You'll be served officially in the morning, but I thought you'd want the heads up. Marcus stared at the papers like they might catch fire. No alimony, by the way. Prenup was very clear. You remember signing it? You were so confident you'd be the breadwinner. Insisted on that clause about keeping your income separate. I smiled. Turns out it works both ways. I'll fight this. With what money? I told you, Marcus. Your accounts are frozen. Every card, every line of credit. I was the guarantor. The co-signer. The actual money. I moved toward the door. You have nothing. You are nothing. You're exactly what you accused me of being. Someone living off someone else's generosity. Sophia, wait. Please. His voice cracked. We can talk about this. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. We can fix this. I paused at the threshold. Do you know what today is, Marcus? Our anniversary. Our anniversary. 10 years. I had reservations at Le Bernardin. Our table. The one where you proposed. My throat tightened, but I kept my voice steady. I sat there alone for 40 minutes. Then I watched you walk in with her. You didn't even see me. I was invisible. I didn't know you were. You didn't look. And that was the truth that cut deepest. You never looked. I was furniture in your life. Convenient. Useful. Forgettable. The lobby of the Four Seasons was empty at 4 a.m. Just night staff and the ghosts of other people's celebrations. My heels clicked on marble as I walked toward the exit. Mrs. Castellano? The concierge? Concerned. Can we call you a car? It's Ms. Chillen, actually. And no, thank you. My driver's waiting. Outside, the city hummed with pre-dawn energy. My father's car idled at the curb. A modest Tesla, not the Bentley Marcus always insisted we needed for appearances. My father's driver, James, opened the door. Ms. Chun, your father is waiting at the penthouse. The penthouse. My real home. The one I'd been building in secret while Marcus thought I was at book club or volunteering at the library. My father stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows, looking out at Manhattan's skyline. At 73, he still moved like the janitor he'd been at 19. Economical, purposeful, never wasting energy. Baba. I used the Mandarin. Our private language, the one Marcus had mocked as ethnic. He turned, opened his arms. I walked into them and finally, let myself cry. How highsy, he murmured. Good child. You were very brave. I was very stupid. 10 years, Baba. I wasted 10 years. You loved honestly. That is never stupid. He pulled back, held my shoulders. And you learned. That is what matters. My mother emerged from the kitchen with tea, the good jasmine, reserved for important moments. She'd been crying too. I could see it in her eyes. Mama. My daughter. She took my hands. Your father wanted to destroy that boy 5 years ago. I made him wait. Made him let you decide. I needed to be sure, I whispered. Needed to know I tried everything. And now you know. She poured tea with steady hands. The same hands that had scrubbed toilets and mopped floors while building an empire. Now you rebuild. We sat together as dawn broke over the city. My father explained the practical details. Marcus's professional reputation would survive, barely. He'd find work, eventually. The scandal would fade. But his world, the one where he was important, powerful, respected, that's gone, my father said quietly. He'll spend the rest of his life knowing he had something real and traded it for fool's gold. And Amber? I asked. My mother smiled. That one will be gone before the month ends. Girls like that don't stay when the money disappears. She was right. I heard through mutual friends. Marcus and Amber lasted 2 weeks. She left when she realized he couldn't afford her anymore. He moved into a studio in Queens. Got a job at a mid-level firm. Started over. I didn't watch his descent. Didn't need to. The revenge wasn't in his suffering. It was in my freedom. 6 months later, the ribbon cutting for Chen Community Center happened on a Tuesday. A converted warehouse in the neighborhood where I grew up. Programs for immigrant families. Job training. ESL classes. Financial literacy workshops. My mother's dream. Funded by the money I'd reclaimed from Marcus's fantasy life. Sophia Chen, everybody. The councilwoman's voice boomed through speakers. Whose generous donation made this possible? Applause. Cameras. I stood at the podium in a simple blue dress, still from Target, but now by choice, not necessity. My parents came to this country with nothing, I said. Worked service jobs while building a business. They taught me that dignity isn't about what you own. It's about how you treat people when you have power over them. In the crowd, I saw faces like my mother's, like my father's. People who worked hard, loved harder, and deserved more than being invisible. This center is for everyone who's been underestimated. Everyone who's been told they're not enough. I looked directly at the camera. You are enough. You always were. That night, my father called me into his office at Chen Property Group. The real office, the one Marcus had desperately wanted to see. Sophia. Sit. I sat. On his desk was a folder. Legal documents, dense with text. You've proven yourself, he said simply. Not through marriage. Not through connections. Through character. You're ready. I opened the folder. CEO succession plan. My name at the top. Baba, you understand this business from every angle now. Not just the penthouses and profit margins. You understand the people who clean the buildings. Who maintain them. Who live in them. He smiled. That's what I wanted you to learn. Not from a classroom. From life. Tears blurred the text. When? 6 months. I'll transition slowly. Train you publicly. By next year, Chen Property Group will be yours. And Marcus? My father's expression hardened. Will spend the rest of his career watching you succeed. Knowing he could have been part of this. Chose ego instead. 1 year later, the Business Journal interview ran with a photo of me at my desk. The CEO office I'd earned, not inherited. The headline, Sophia Chen, from secret heiress to real estate powerhouse. The reporter had been fascinated by my story. The hidden identity. The cheating husband. The dramatic reveal. But that's not what I wanted the article to say. What I learned, I told her, was that my worth never depended on Marcus seeing it.